Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Tim Hankewich from Orchestra Iowa. Busy couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Tim,
Yeah.
we always talk about things getting really hectic in late November, December for the orchestra, but you're kind of starting early.
Oh, yeah.
I want to work backwards a little
Sure.
bit and talk a little bit about what stuff that has already happened.
Sure.
Because there are some stories that haven't quite been told too much about the film. The Jurassic Park that the orchestra did just this past weekend. So First off, congrats on that.
Thank
that
you
was
very much.
That was hugely fun night.
That is a great fun to do. You know, it's still funny that I still have to explain to people what the experience is. When they say, what are you doing? Oh, we're doing Jurassic Park, the film. They assume, oh, you're just doing the music from Jurassic Park. No, we're doing the film with Jurassic Park, and the music just happens to be live. And so we are actually playing the score as it appears in the full film in real time with the movie. And that is really, really cool to do.
But it's also challenging
Sure.
for you. I mean, as the time master,
Right.
you, in a way that maybe not with any other concert, it's all on you to make sure that this works.
It's a completely different animal from what we normally do. If you'll indulge me with sort of a brief tutorial about how orchestras play together, people think that we set a tempo and away they go. And that is true, but orchestras breathe and they fluctuate fast and slow because they're constantly listening to each other, all 70 musicians plus, and they're making micro adjustments. And so we're human beings, not computers, is what I'm trying to say. And so when you're trying to reproduce a soundtrack with a film does not move at all. And so films from pre-1980s, the way they used to do it in the studio is that in the score, every 2 or 3 measures, there'd be a timestamp, and there'd be literally an analog clock. And the conductor, when they're supposed to start, would sort of have to guess at the tempo. And then once you make it to measure 3, if it says 15 seconds and the clock says 15 seconds, you're great. But if you're not in alignment, you have to speed up or slow down. And the signal that a conductor gives for an orchestra to speed up or slow down, you can do that, but it takes about a second or two for the orchestra to respond. But anyway, it's in many ways kind of easier because the orchestra can hear each other and they play together and they stay and they maintain their ensemble. Okay, fast forward to today. What they do now is they have a click track. And so I'm the only one with a click track, which is basically an earpiece that just has the tempo in my ear. And you would think that would make it easier. And on one hand, it does, because you don't have to guess about what the tempo is going to be. But the orchestra still skates back and forth in the way they fluctuate. So in many ways, I'm hearing one tempo on the click track in my ear, and I'm hearing one tempo, a different tempo, a close tempo happening in the orchestra, and I have to reconcile that all night long. And that is what the real challenge of doing this kind of work.
So give yourself a grade. How'd you do?
I did really well. Actually, I did really well because I even put notes in my score say, hey, stay ahead of this. If I start too fast, that's good because halfway through, the orchestra is going to slow down. And so there are just some places where I just override what I'm hearing in the click track, knowing that 20, 30 measures down the road, it'll be fine. And the audience isn't going to know the difference just so long as there are critical moments where there's a scene change or a dramatic moment that a musical moment happens, that those two absolutely have to be in sync with each other. And so I did really well.
You were right on as near as I could. And I was seated so that I could see you. I could see your hands,
Yep.
and also see the screen a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was, it was very fun to watch, and the orchestra was right on. You warned the audience ahead of time that, now remember, there is a live orchestra here because you're going to forget. And you kind of do.
You do, yeah.
I have to remind myself every now and again when, like, the tempo would change or they'd switch to the, the jump scare piece of music. It's like, oh my gosh, we're doing that live.
I know. And what's actually kind of fun, it's a bit of a power trip for the conductor too, because the orchestra, they have to look at you. They have to follow you. Usually in a symphonic chorus, a symphonic concert, they're looking at you, but they're more listening to each other. But this time, they desperately need you, because 2 beats and they can be completely off if they're not careful. And so everybody is just supercharged. And it's just really neat to be in that kind of environment.
Well, it was a fun night, but your job is not done.
No.
Because I have heard that you are going to go to New York and help the New York Philharmonic do
Correct.
Jurassic Park?
Correct.
Okay. That is cool.
That is very cool. Well, I've just described to you why it's such a unique animal, and so now I have this very special set of skills that's not very common. So when, large orchestras like the Chicago Symphony or the New York Philharmonic, they often just bring in guest conductors and cover conductors. Because it's such a large operation, they always have people to come in just in case something goes wrong. Well, if you're talking about normal symphonic music, you can easily just sit in the rehearsal and just take notes. And if something wrong happens and you're called at the last moment, well, you've been to all the rehearsals. You can't do that with film. You have to know the film. You have to know the tempos of the music, but you also have to be used to this weird dichotomy of hearing 2 different tempos at the same time and knowing how to reconcile the two. And so the New York Philharmonic did reach out to me because they knew I was doing this this week, and they said, "Hey, we're doing the same film next week, and we need somebody who can do the show. Are you ready?" And I said, "Sure, I'll be happy to do that." So
okay, so trip to New York.
Trip to New York. They're paying for it. I'll take it.
All right. Well, congratulations. That is really cool. Good luck for that.
And it's going on my resume for sure. Cover conductor, New York Philharmonic. I'm there.
However, before you get on a plane to New York,
yes,
you've got something else that you've got to do.
Right. Yeah,
just a little tiny thing, just a little birthday party.
Yeah.
But instead of getting to come to the birthday party and be celebrated, you are also the entertainment.
This seemed like a good idea at the time, and now that the date is coming up, so my birthday literally is November 7th,
and that is the date
and that
of
is
the
the
birthday
date.
concert.
It's Monday, and it's a fundraiser for the orchestra, frankly, and. Over the pandemic, there are certain artists who were very kind to me personally and to Orchestra Iowa who participated in our happy hour event on FaceTime, or on Facebook, excuse me. And Zuill Bailey is one of them, cellist. I always call him Fabio with a cello. He is one of the world's leading cellists. We had him here to do Michael Dougherty's cello concerto, Tales of Hemingway, and we got on like a house on fire. And
also fine cellist and fine-looking man.
Well, that's what I say.
Yes.
Fabio with the cello, and also a wine fanatic. So we're having sort of this wine event, and on Monday, November 7th. And so I thought, I should practice what I preach. And so I started practicing a little bit, and I thought, we should just do a recital together. And so he's flying in. He'll get in the night before on Sunday, and we'll throw it together. And I have to tell you, I used to be a pianist. I'm a recovering pianist. This stuff is hard. I have only myself to blame. We're doing the Chopin cello sonata, and Chopin, for those of you who know, of course, is one of the great piano composers, and so the piano part's really, really hard. So we're going to do that together, as well as a little bit of Brahms and stuff like that. But it'll be a great evening, but the tickets are there for a fundraiser to help Orchestra Iowa.
And priced accordingly.
Yes. But this is the unique event about it. We're going to be doing it in the Hall of Mirrors. The Hall of Mirrors is this for everybody who's gone to the Paramount.
It's the lobby of the Paramount.
It's gorgeous, and it's sort of the most old world room we have in Cedar Rapids, both in look and in sound. And so it'll be kind of this formal recital there, and of course,
it will feel like you are in the era of Chopin.
Absolutely, that was the whole idea.
So watch for Tim and Zuill in their powdered wigs.
Exactly. I need the wig. He does not.
I'd pay to see that. But so you've probably been practicing. So you've had a lot on your plate. You got to learn how to conduct to a click track.
Right.
You got to get this piano part together with one of the best cellists in the entire world.
I know. Like, what was I thinking?
And in my memory, okay, 15 years, right? You've been here 15 years?
16.
16, okay.
Yeah.
And I can only remember one other time when you you were featured at a concert as the pianist.
Right.
So this is in 16 years. This is only the second time you sat down and played for us.
Yeah, I know. Performing is a skill. It's a muscle that you need to exercise. And so that's why I've been practicing and practicing and practicing. And that's one thing, but your muscle memory and all the hours you spend in front of the piano hopefully will serve you well when the nerves and the jitters get in the way, because all that adrenaline can sometimes freeze the fingers a bit. So, and it's also important, I tell other musicians how to play for a living. It's only right that I actually practice what I preach. And it's also good to have a little humility about it, because live performance is hard, really hard. So right after that, that night, I'm driving to Chicago to pick up a flight to New York, so it'll be quite the whirlwind.
It's going to be a busy week for Tim, but this one has been on my calendar for a long time, because I have only got to see you play piano just a tiny bit here or there. So and Zuill is great.
Oh my God, he's fantastic.
This is really a not to be missed opportunity. Like I said, second time in 16 years
Absolutely.
to get to see Tim at the piano. Might be another 16 years.
It might be. If it goes well, it might be a little shorter than that. But yeah, so if you want to join us, call the box office at 319-366-8203. And they'll be happy to help you, and hopefully we'll see you and and join me for my birthday party. That'd be great.
Tickets at 319-366-8203, or of course orchestraiowa.org. Well, you got to go practice.
Do I ever!
So go practice, and we'll see you on Monday. And good luck. And next time we sit down, I'll be really anxious to hear how things went with the New York Phil.
We'll talk about the New York Phil, and I'll bring something from a local deli for you.
All right, thanks, Tim.
Cheers.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast. Watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture or your favorite podcast app. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.